If you're a woman over 50 who feels like you've lost your identity when your kids left home, I need you to hear this. You haven't lost everything. You've actually accumulated transferable superpowers over the past 2 decades that most women don't even recognize. And today, I'm showing you how to see them. I'm running from Third Act Society. We've been walking through the Thrive method together. Last week was truth assessment, then horizon mapping. Today is the R, resource recognition for women in transition. This isn't about making yourself feel better with generic, "you're amazing" platitudes. This is about doing an honest inventory of what you've accumulated through decades of life experiences, skills, wisdom, networks, and capabilities that transfers to whatever comes next. If you're a midlife woman ready to recognize your real assets, instead of focusing on what you think you've lost, hit the notification bell. Practical transformation tools coming your way. Here's the cruel irony of this transition. The moment you need to recognize your strength most is exactly when you feel like you have none. When your primary identity shifts from active mother to woman whose kids have launched. Everything you've been doing feels invisible or irrelevant. You look at 20 years of couple and think, I was just driving. You look at 2 decades of managing schedules, emotions, conflicts, budgets, and crises, and you're thinking, I was just mothering. You look at your ability to coordinate complex logistics while maintaining relationships, and you're thinking, anyone can do that? But here is what resource recognition in the Thrive method teaches you. Those weren't just chores you were doing. Those are complex skills you were developing. You weren't just mothering, you were running a multi-decade project management operation while simultaneously providing emotional leadership, financial oversight, and crisis management. The problem isn't that you don't have resources. The problem is that you've been so close to them for so long that you can't see what you've actually built. Resource recognition for midlife women covers 4 areas that most of us completely overlook. Skill archaeology. What have you gotten really good at through years of family management? Project coordination, crisis navigation, budget juggling, conflict resolution, emotional intelligence, reading people's needs, managing multiple timelines simultaneously. These aren't mom skills. These are leadership and management competencies. Network capital. What do you know through decades of life? Other parents, teachers, coaches, neighbors, work colleagues, extended family, service providers. What relationships have you built? What trust have you earned? Network isn't just who you know, it's who knows your characters and capabilities. Wisdom inventory. What do you understand about people, relationships, and life that didn't know at 25? How do you handle stress differently? What patterns can you recognize quickly? What advice do friends consistently ask you for? This experimental knowledge is actual intellectual property. And for the capacity assessment, what's your real bandwidth for taking on new challenges? Most women underestimate this because they've been operating at maximum capacity for years. But what if some of that capacity gets freed up? What becomes possible when you're not coordinating 3 people's lives every single day? The key insight: you haven't been standing still for 20 years. You've been accumulating resources. You just need to learn how to see them clearly. I'm curious, which of these 4 categories feel most surprising for you to think about? Drop a comment about whether it's the skill archaeology, network capital, wisdom inventory, or capacity assessment that's opened your eyes. Let me tell you about the moment someone else saw my resource before I could. This was maybe the first year into my emptiness phase, still feeling like I lost my primary purpose. I was dabbing into photography, something I'd always loved, but I'd never taken time to pursue seriously. My friend Jeff, my co-worker, saw some of the photos I'd taken and said something that stopped me in my tracks. Ronnie, he said, you have incredible eyes for this. Have you thought about turning this into something more than a hobby? My immediate response was deflection. Oh, I'm just playing around. It's nothing serious. But But Jeff pushed back. What do you mean? Nothing serious. You're creating beautiful work. You clearly have natural talent, plus you're developing technical skills. Why are you diminishing that? He said, you know what I see when I look at your photography? The same attention to detail and care that you brought to raising your daughter. The same ability to see what others miss. The same patience to wait for the right moment. Those aren't different skills. They're the same resources applied to a different canvas. That conversation forced me to do what I'd been avoiding. Actually looking at what I'd accumulated instead of focusing on what I thought I'd lost. Jeff didn't just see my potential in photography. He saw how 20 years of intensive mothering had developed my observational skills, my patience, my ability to capture meaningful moments. I realized I'd been doing grief math, cataloging everything that was gone instead of inventory math. Recognize everything that remained and had grown stronger. Here's how to do your own resource recognition as part of the Thrive method. Step 1, the skills translation exercise. List everything you did regularly as an active parent. Then ask, what business or professional skill does this actually represent? Coordinating couples equals logistics management. Managing teen drama, conflict resolution. Juggling activities and budget, resource allocation. Helping with homework, teaching and mentoring. You'll be amazed at what you discover. Step 2, the network mapping. Write down everyone you know through your years of mothering and life experience. Not just close friends. I mean everyone. Then ask, what do these relationships present in terms of trust, knowledge, and potential support? Who knows your character? Who respect your judgment? This is relationship capital you built over decades. Step 3, the wisdom audit. What do people consistently come to you for advice about? What can you spot quickly that others miss? What situations can you navigate now that would have overwhelmed you at 25? This isn't just life experience. This is earned expertise in human nature, relationship, and crisis management. And step 4, the capacity liberation assessment. What energy and time will become available as your intensive mothering season ends? Not immediately, this is a gradual shift. But what becomes possible when you're not managing everyone else's schedule, emotions, and logistics? What could you accomplish with even 20% of that capacity redirected towards your own goal? Remember, this isn't about convincing yourself you're wonderful. This is about accurate assessment of your actual assets for making strategic decisions about what comes next. If this resource recognition framework is helping you see yourself differently, share this video with another midlife woman who might need permission to recognize our own accumulated strengths instead of focusing on what feels lost. Here's what happens when you complete honest resource recognition. You stop approaching this transition from a deficit mindset. You stop trying to find yourself and start strategically developing the capabilities you've already developed. You realize that feeling like you have nothing to offer is an optical illusion created by being too close to your own growth. You haven't been treading water for 20 years. You've been developing expertise in areas that matter deeply in every context. People skills, crisis management, project coordination, emotional intelligence. Resource recognition isn't about ego or false confidence. It's about accurate assessment of your actual assets so you make informed decisions about how to use them in this next chapter. I've created a complete Thrive Quick Start for empty nesters that includes truth assessment, horizon mapping, and introduces you to this resource recognition framework along with the final 2 components of the method. It has specific exercises for discovering your hidden resources and translating them into next step possibilities. Link is in the description. It's my gift to midlife women ready to see their accumulated strength clearly and use them strategically for designing what comes next. You haven't lost everything. You've accumulated more than you realize. What resources are you most surprised to recognize in yourself now?